Hi there, and welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And today we are going to make homemade egg rolls in the Ninja Foodi. And this is one of my favorite things to make, egg rolls. And that's because you get to use up so many different kinds of leftovers. So today we are going to make up two different kinds of egg rolls, a traditional Asian egg roll and also a Reuben egg roll. And that's from leftover corned beef and cabbage that I have. So first, let's get started with making our Asian mix because we need that to saute for a few minutes in the Ninja Foodi. So I'm gonna turn the Ninja Foodi on and hit the sear saute, high is fine, hit the start button, and I'm gonna use sesame oil, which is, I love sesame oil. I'm a big fan of olive oil and I use that most of the time, but whenever cooking Asian food, I like to use sesame oil. So I'm just gonna use a little bit, like maybe a teaspoon. Don't need much at all. And then to this, we're gonna add some cabbage, some green onions, some pork that I've already cooked. Now this pork is a recipe I'm working on, I can't wait to share with you. It's for Vietnamese pork tacos with these steamed buns that we make right in the Ninja Foodi. They're fantastic too. So I have some of that, I'm gonna use that up, and we have a carrot. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get my cabbage cut. This is just a half of a cabbage that I didn't use from when I was making corned beef and cabbage. Just peel off any layers that look a little wilted. And we're just gonna I'm gonna cut about, I don't know, that's about an inch maybe. Cut that off. And then I'm just gonna slice down with a sharp knife in thin strips. Just gonna go all the way to the end. Watch your fingers, of course. Okay, so you can see how thin these are. So just little thin strips. And then we're gonna get those into the Ninja Foodi with the oil that's heating up. Now you can make as much of this up as you want. Depends on how many egg rolls you're gonna make. I'm only gonna make one egg roll of each kind, so don't need a whole lot of this mixture. What I'm cutting up here is probably going to be enough for maybe 4 egg rolls, I think. But it does reduce down in size quite a bit once it starts sauteing. So now let's get our carrot cut up. And I wanted to show you guys how to do this. So first of all, I'm just going to square off the ends here. I've already peeled this carrot. I'm going to take about that much, which is about maybe 3 inches. That's how long I want the little sticks to be. Now, I have talked about this if you watched any of my other videos about you always want to cut your vegetables on a flat surface. But what do you do if it's a round vegetable, like a carrot? You're gonna take off a slice, and then you've got a flat surface. Now, we don't discard this. We're gonna go ahead and cut this up and throw it right in here with our cabbage. Let me give this a little quick stir because I hear it sauteing a little bit. Oh, that looks great. It's already coated with a little bit of the oil. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna take about, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch of a slice here, and I'm just gonna go down until I become a little uncomfortable that I'm too close to my fingers, and I'm gonna flip it over. Again, now I've got a really good flat surface to cut with. And I'm just gonna make these little cuts. Again, when you feel like you're too close to your finger, go back the other way. Now, some of these are gonna be bigger because we're gonna cut those into little strips again. That's perfect. So they're about 1/4 by 1/4. I'm not measuring, it doesn't have to be perfect. But this is gonna allow them to saute up pretty quickly so that your cabbage and your carrots are gonna be the same texture. And I think that's important when you're eating an egg roll, you want everything to have the same texture. All right, so I'm just gonna finish these up. I'm also gonna get this pork in here. Let's just dump this in. Give it a stir around. There's a little bit of fat from the pork, so that's also gonna help keep everything sauteing with that just a teaspoon of sesame oil. Now what I have here is 1 tablespoon of soy sauce and 1 tablespoon of rice vinegar. I'm gonna go ahead and add that in. I wanna add it in now because I actually want most of the liquid to evaporate from this before we roll our egg rolls. You don't want a wet filling in your egg roll or your egg roll will fall apart. To that, I'm also gonna add about a teaspoon of freshly grated ginger. Well, that's optional, but I think it gives a good, just a good little balance of flavors in there with the pork and the ginger. And like, we're almost done here. I mean, that's how quick it is. So let me hurry up and get the rest of this carrot cut up. And then we will cut up our green onion and throw that in. All right, perfect. Let's get those in, give it a little stir. All right, for the green onion, all I'm gonna do is take off the bottom here and just kind of trim these up a little bit. And then I'm just going to, actually I'm gonna cut it in half first because it's a little, I'm just gonna go down and make little cuts. I'm not even worried about what size they are. And make sure your knife goes all the way through. Sometimes it likes to stop right at the last second. So break those up a little bit if that happens. All right. I think I will add in the rest of this green onion here. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is just take a tiny bit. I wanna taste. I haven't added any salt or anything like that because I just wanna give it a little taste real quick and see where we are because of that soy sauce. We might not need to add any other seasonings. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. I am gonna add a little bit of red chili pepper paste. I make this up myself, but you can get it through, it's usually in the produce section of your grocery store. It's by Gourmet Garden. I love that. It adds such like a nice little heat. And I like spicy food. All right, I do not think I'm gonna need to add any salt to that though. That really had a nice flavor. So now what I'm gonna do is turn the Ninja Foodi off. Now, the other thing you want to do when you're making egg rolls is you want the filling to cool down. You don't want it to be piping hot or it's just going to make your egg rolls not roll very nicely. So we're going to let this cool down a little bit. Looks great though. We just made an egg roll filling. I always think that's cool. All right, perfect. Okay, so I cleaned up and I got my mat here. I find that when you're making egg rolls, you want to have a large surface so that everything is within easy reach and you can roll your egg rolls and move on to the next one, especially if you're going to do them for, a dinner for 4 people and you want to make, 4, 6, or 8 egg rolls. Now I'm just going to make 2 egg rolls, 1 of each kind, like I said, but still having a lot of room is very beneficial. I've also preheated the Ninja Foodi, so it has been going for just over 2 minutes now. So we're going to let that finish heating up. It's at 390 on the air crisp function. It's important to preheat the Ninja Foodi when you're going to bake, roast, broil, or air fry. You want to get it heated up. That will help the cooking. So these are store-bought egg roll wrappers. These are Frida's chicken egg roll wrappers, I think, something like that. It says Frida's chicken egg roll recipe, so I'm assuming these egg rolls are made by Frida. Any kind works. They are just a big square. Put them with a point towards you so that they look like a diamond, and you're gonna put your filling right across the center. And I found that using about a half a cup of filling is about the right amount. You want them to be pretty full, but you don't want them to be over full so that they rip the egg roll wrapper. That's very important. So for this, I'm gonna start off with putting down some cheese. I've got Swiss cheese. This is the Reuben egg roll. So I'm gonna put down probably about a tablespoon of cheese here. That looks good. And then I've got some corned beef that I just diced up. I'm probably gonna put about a tablespoon or more, maybe 1.5 tablespoons it looks like. That's looking good. And then a little bit of drained sauerkraut. I did squeeze the water out of this because I don't want the egg roll to have moisture inside that will affect the way the outside of the egg roll crunches up. Okay, the next thing you want to do when you have your filling is take one beaten egg and a little pastry brush, or you could even use your fingers if you wanted to, and just brush around all the edges here. This is going to allow our egg roll to adhere to itself so it's a nice roll and doesn't fall apart. Take your corner up, go around, pull a little bit towards you. Now, egg roll wrappers are very fragile, so you don't want to squeeze them or put your fingernail through them because any little hole will affect the cooking. Put in each end here, and then go ahead and wrap, trying to keep a nice tight roll as you go, all the way to the end. And look at that. I mean, that looks like you just went to the Asian market and bought a prepared egg roll. That is how easy they are. So this is the Reuben egg roll, so I guess you wouldn't have bought that at the Asian market. But that's the Reuben one, so we're gonna put that to the side and we're gonna get started on the Asian one. So the same thing. Grab out an egg roll wrapper. One thing too I would like to mention, because it's happened to me more than one occasion, make sure you have just one wrapper. It's really easy to grab two. If you have two, it would become gummy any way you cooked it. It's just got too much of the wrapper. Okay, so I'm gonna use a scoop for this, just for ease. And that looks like about a 1/2 cup. That's probably all I'm gonna need. But I'll know more when I get it on to my egg roll here. That looks pretty good. I could probably go maybe a little bit more. One thing too that I noticed when you're making the cabbage, they do shrink up some, so you want them to be pretty full before you put them in the Ninja Foodi, so that when the insides shrink from being heated more, you don't end up with a little skinny, shriveled looking egg roll. All right, same process. We're just gonna go over this with the egg wash. Perfect. Put this up. And I'm gonna kind of go slow. Okay, pulled it back towards me. Flip these edges in. Flip this edge in. Oops, make sure that's like that. Perfect. Okay, now roll and kind of pull in towards you so you're getting a nice round egg roll. There you go. Now this one's a little skinny on this side. That happens sometimes. No big deal. It'll cook up just fine. But there you go. Another homemade egg roll. Now, to get them into the Ninja Foodi, there's a couple of things you can do. I have some olive oil here, and that is what I'm going to use to coat the outside. But I have a friend of mine who made them, and she sent me a message, said she used egg wash on the outside, and she thought that it turned out better. She liked it more with the egg wash than with the oil. I tried both ways, and I preferred the crunch of the olive oil. So that's what I'm going to go with here. And I'm just going to give them a light brush all the way around. I'm also looking to see if there's any holes. Now, if there are some holes, don't worry about it. Still cook it up. But some of the filling will kind of leak out a little bit is what I've noticed. Okay, so this one's going to go on the rack here. And let's get the other one brushed with a little bit of olive oil. And the temperature is 390. And they take usually about 10 minutes. And of course, I'll flip them at the 5-minute mark. All right, I mean, you know, this is so easy and they're so good and so beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna move this one over. Just since we're only cooking two, I'm gonna move it over towards the center just a little bit. All right, perfect. Okay, so now I'm just gonna get this cleaned up a little bit and then we're gonna make a dipping sauce. I wanted to show you guys how easy it is to make an Asian dipping sauce at home, that you don't have to run out to the store and buy one of those prepared sauces. It's super easy to make one at home. Before we get into making our little quick sauce, this is gonna be an Asian sauce that we're gonna make. Let me go ahead and take a look at these, and they're looking really pretty. And I'm just gonna go ahead and turn them at this point, just to start getting some crispiness on the other side. Now I will be turning them about every 3 minutes, just so that they evenly cook on both sides, because the top does get more crispy than the underside. Even though air circulates, it still is more direct heat. Okay, so to make this sauce, what I have here is 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, which just regular. I didn't use the dark, I just used regular soy sauce. 1 teaspoon of rice vinegar, a 1/2 teaspoon of just a spicy mustard, prepared mustard, and a 1/2 teaspoon of that red chili pepper paste. Again, I make my own, and I will include that in the written instructions below the video. So just click on the see more and you'll be able to see all the ingredients that I used and all the instructions for this recipe. Then to this, I'm gonna add about a 1/2 teaspoon of fresh ginger that I just grated earlier. I love using fresh ginger in sauces. And then I also have 1 tablespoon, you know what, it's gonna be easier, I think, for me to pour this into the honey. I have 1 tablespoon of honey. So we're gonna have our salty, our sour, and our sweet, which makes for a wonderful Asian dipping sauce for our egg roll. Then I'll just get this mixed up here. It kind of reminds me of like maybe a spicy duck sauce. So if you did not like, if you don't like spice, just omit the red chili pepper paste, and possibly even the ginger, but it's a nice fresh taste. I really love it. All right, that looks great. Now we just have to wait for these egg rolls to get done. The possibilities are pretty much endless with making homemade egg rolls. I mean, you could do, like if you made the taco bake, which I'll link to that video over there if you haven't seen that yet. That's a really super quick and easy Mexican bake that I did a video on. And the instructions for that and the recipe are below that video, so you can check that out. If you have leftovers there, you can make a Southwestern egg roll, with the extra mix from the Mexican bake. You can make Philly cheesesteak egg rolls, which would be fantastic. So, I mean, you could do anything, any leftovers that you have. You could do pretty much anything. Wrap it in an egg roll and call it a new meal. I love that. All right, let's flip them again. They're looking really good. Oh, look at that. They're looking so good. All right, just keep it going. And in this bowl here, I just have a very basic Thousand Island dressing that I whipped up from sweet relish, mayonnaise, and ketchup. And so that's just super simple sauce too. That's for the Reuben egg roll. All right, let's give them one more check here. They're looking good. They look good, but I like mine really crunchy, so I'm gonna keep going. Now it looks like this one might have had a little hole in it somewhere. I can see the shininess there, and I can see some of the, some of the liquid from inside drained out. That's okay, it's gonna be great. They end up not being quite as crunchy when you get a little hole in them. So they're looking really good. I think what I'm gonna do real quick is just bump up the heat to 400, which I sometimes do at the end. I don't like to start off at 400 because what I found is that they get too done on the outside and the whole egg roll can be kind of like gummy on the inside, and I don't like that. I want it to be completely cooked and crisp all the way through. And then let's just give them another little quick turn. They're looking good though. I mean, really, really good. I mean, it's hard to believe these are not deep fried, to be honest. They're gorgeous. They're just gorgeous. They look like they just came out of the deep fryer. So I'd say maybe 2 more minutes and then we're done. And then I will get to taste them. That's always my favorite part. We'll cut them, fancy, gotta be fancy. And let them cool just a minute and then taste them with this glorious dipping sauce. All right, let's peek again. Yeah, I think we're done. Yep, all right. so let's do the Reuben egg roll first. I'm going to show you how pretty it is. First of all, hopefully you can hear that crunch. This is going to be great. All right, so now I always cut my egg rolls on the diagonal. You do not have to. You don't even have to cut them, but it's going to allow it to cool off a little bit. And they just look so pretty. Look at that. How gorgeous. That'd look great on a plate. And I love a Reuben. So I know I'm gonna love this one. I do have to let it cool though, definitely. It is way too hot right now. All right, I think it's cool enough. So let's give it a try. So I'm gonna dip it in just a little bit of that Thousand Island dressing and take a bite. Wow. That is so amazing. You get the Swiss cheese in there, you get the sauerkraut, the corned beef. I mean, literally, it tastes like a Reuben in an egg roll wrapper. And I guess that's because it is a Reuben in an egg roll wrapper. Now let's check out the Asian one. I'm really looking forward to this one too. I love Asian food. Okay, let's get this one out here. And same thing, I'm gonna cut it on the diagonal. Now that's where, see that piece there? That's where it was leaking out a little bit. But anyway, you can still see how beautiful that is. I mean, they are just gorgeous. And the steam is coming out. We're gonna have to wait for this one to cool off too. But that's where I had a little hole, but that's okay. They look great. I mean, it looks like an egg roll that you would get at an Asian takeout, Asian restaurant. And you made it yourself. You know exactly what's in it. And that's why I love making food at home, because I know exactly what ingredients I'm putting in there. Okay, I think we're about ready. Now, I've just recently done a video for a spicy orange beef and broccoli, and I will link to that up there because these egg rolls would go perfectly with that dinner. And you won't even ever need to go to an Asian restaurant again. I'm telling you, it's that good. All right, so let's get in this sauce. Oh, it looks so good. Wow. That sauce and this egg roll is 10,000 times better than takeout. Wow. Oh, I'm so impressed. I mean, I like the Reuben one, don't get me wrong. I really did. But this sauce right here is amazing. This is pretty hot still. Wow, that's amazing. I just can't say enough good things about this egg roll. And see how fast and easy it was? You can make these at home. They're so super easy. And as always, if you have questions, just leave me a comment. I read through every one of them, and I do try to answer everybody and get your questions answered for you. We also have 2 Facebook groups. One is Ninja Foodi 101, where we go over the basics of the Ninja Foodi. And then we have another Facebook group called Ninja Foodi Fresh and Healthy Meals, where we try to cook a little bit healthier in our Ninja Foodi. And this would totally qualify as a healthy dinner. Now, if you were totally carb free, you did not want to do the egg roll wrapper, I understand that totally. Just don't make them into egg rolls. Do the little saute in there. You might not go for the honey so much, but you can make up your own sauce, whatever, diet requirements you have. And just, oh my God, it's so good. I mean, it's delicious. Really, really delicious. You could also substitute chicken for pork. That would be no problem at all. I just happen to have the pork, and so I use the pork. As always, thank you so much for watching the video, and I really hope you make these Asian egg rolls, or the Reuben egg rolls, or Southwestern egg rolls, or any kind of egg roll that you like, because they are so delicious and so easy to do. If you have any questions, certainly leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I know the answer. If not, I'll try to find out the answer for you. Thank you so much if you're already a subscriber, and if you haven't subscribed yet, you can do that right over there. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and be sure to leave a comment. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you.